Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Spiral Up Living with Trish and Joanna.
Hi, everybody.
We're,
Welcome.
we're so happy to have you here with us today. And we've all been in lockdown, I guess is what we've been calling it. And we wanted to actually talk today a little bit about stress and how to make stress your lead. So a lot of us are thinking about what our lives used to look like, what our lives are supposed to look like, and then also, oh my gosh, what is our life going to look like in the future? And that I know is bringing up a lot of stress for people. And I know both Joanna and I have had some very interesting times that we've been sharing. And so we thought maybe we would share some of our insights with you.
Yeah, I think that one of the main things to share and to actually get awareness of is that every time that we talk about stress, we talk about stress about something bad. So every time that we talk about stress, we move it into I'm stressed, so I'm not feeling good. I'm stressed, I'm irritated. I'm stressed, I'm frustrated. I'm stressed, my immune system is going down. And even when all that is true, it is true not because of the stress itself, but because of the amount of time that we stay stressed. And that is something that is very important to actually start understanding, that we can actually make a stress our be if we make a stress work for us, because stress is not bad or good. Actually, stress is designed to be something good. Stress is designed to help us to stay alive and survive. The hormone that our reptile brain release, that produce the cortisol that produces stress, is the hormone that is designed to generate the flight freeze. And those were thousands and thousands of millions of years ago the only way that we will survive. Like if we had danger and we didn't freeze, fly, we will die. So it is actually something good. But the problem is that we tend to stay on it for long periods of time.
Absolutely. So we're really going to look at what Joanna was talking about, which is how to use your stress for you, or is actually your stress using you? Did I say that right? I don't know if that came out right. I'm not sure. But as Joanna said, definitely the short-term bursts of stress, it awakens like your hormones and your immune cells, and it tells them to get ready for battle so that they're ready to do things. And if you stay in that state for a long period of time, that's where mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, it can have more damage.
Absolutely. Actually, I was reading a clinical study on one of Dr. Joe Dispenza's books that says that that your cells had this little mouth, like your cells had a lot of these openings, and those openings receive chemical signals. So each of those doors or those openings get the right click on the key door when they, as your body is creating more of those stress chemicals, your cells start changing, damaging and killing other openings for other chemicals and generating more openings for stress. You start becoming more addicted to that stress, and your cells are now craving that connection because they have more openings to feel the stress response.
Very interesting. Thanks for sharing that. I have my little friend here. This is my stress ball. This is a little horsey stress ball, you know, the kind that you kind of grab at when you're feeling a little bit something happening. And yeah, I just wanted to know, is this for good? Like maybe if someone's stressing me out, I could like throw him at them, or is it actually physically helping me by changing the chemicals in my body because I'm getting some movement happening? What do you think?
I think that is both. I think that with the stress, what is going to help us is when we are able to ride the stress and control the stress of ourselves. And what you are doing is exactly what I think that we need to be doing, is realize that you are getting a stress, feeling a stress. You are not stressed, you are feeling a stress. And instead of letting the emotion and the chemicals run, you stop and squeeze it. So like squeezing the ball, or even throw it to somebody, to the picture, to the screen of the computer, is giving you that opportunity to pause and actually make that assessment of, is this stressful situation really something dangerous? Is this really putting my life in danger? Or if it's not, then give us the opportunity to handle it a little different and start finding a little more solutions than just the freeze, flight, or fight that are the immediate responses for the stress.
And our second point that we wanted to make was that, is stress making you more social, or are you wanting to run away and hide in your cave? So I know a lot of my friends are on Zoom meetings talking to friends that live all over the world way more often than they actually did before this time. I can be a cave dweller. I'm going to admit it. I am kind of wanting to be a cave dweller sometimes. So I've really had to work at just getting out and seeing people long distance, seeing people far away on my farm. There are people here all the time, so at least I have some kind of human interaction. So are you the reach out person, Joanna, these days, or are you kind of the cave dweller like my tendency is?
I think that I'm more the reach out person. And the thing with that I was thinking when you were talking about the stress and our interaction with people is, one of the ways to make a stress your bitch is to find the energy and the pull in that stress to take action. And that is like, if we would talk about fight, fly, or freeze, is the first two, is having in that stressful moment, in that stress, in that cortisol rush, a way to tune in to actually go and take massive action, go and do something about it. And that would be the fight or the fly. And it is how we can, with this, and I think that is why you are seeing all those people that are connecting more in Zoom than ever before, because of the stress trigger that cortisol, and that cortisol triggers the first one, that is fight. It's making an action. I cannot go and talk and hug with my neighbor. So instead of freeze and just stay freeze, I fight and I just take action, and I go and create Zoom calls and reach out to people and friends via Zoom. And that is a great way to make sure that stress is working for you. Is every time that you feel stressed, think about those three: freeze, fly, and fight. And which of those three are you going to utilize? To make you freeze? Are you going to allow your cortisol to make you fly? Or you are going to allow your cortisol and take massive action about what is stressing you?
And I can guarantee that if you just make the one step forward, it will make you feel a heck of a lot better. So when you get up in the morning and maybe you get on social media a little too soon, or you get that text, you get that phone call, or gosh, you put on the news, and all of a sudden you're hit with this emotion and your energy drops, and then it's like, I just want to turn on Netflix and escape from the world. Well, if you actually reach out and connect with someone and get social and pick up the phone and you talk with someone, everything is going to feel a lot better. Your energy is going to change and your outlook will look a lot better. And it all comes down to the chemistry in your brain.
Absolutely. Stress is also a good signal that something is not right in our life. And it's one of the first signals that we have. And usually we don't pay attention to that signal. I actually remember last year, when I was still working in corporate America, my stress level started going up and up and up. And the stress level started going up because I feel trapped. And I remember trying to go to my factories and my teams and help them and support them and help them to be better. And at the same time, I knew that corporate leadership was not supporting what I was doing, and they were not talking they were not walking the talk. They were saying the right things, but they were not doing the right things. And I was in between those two scenarios of going to my plans around the country and trying to work with them at the same time, having this, and the stress started coming up more and more and more. And I remember one day, it was probably November, and I just start crying for no reason. Like, I just start driving and I just start crying, and that crying was all that stress built up, all that frustration built up. And at that point, going back onto what we were saying, I didn't realize that that was a signal that something was not going on good in my life, that what I was doing was not aligned with who it was. But I just cried. I was coming from Michigan, and I cried for like 2.5 hours of the 3 hours that took me to go to Michigan on that level of stress. And it was not until like 2 or 3 months later that I actually realized and say, okay, this is not working. So stress can also be one of the first signals that there is something that we need to change in our life. That sometimes we are just stubborn and don't want to hear, and we just keep letting the stress pile up more and more.
Absolutely. I am definitely one that likes to shut out the voices that are telling me some things. So, as you said, stress can be a huge wake-up call. You just got to remember to listen to it. Now, for us, we both have animals around. So animals can be a big stress reliever. I know my little kitten Ike, as soon as I feel stress or I'm not feeling quite so well, he jumps up on me and actually puts himself right against my heart. And he starts to purr and he looks up at me with those little eyes. And yeah, I can just feel the stress level just melt away. And I'm fortunate, of course, bless you. I'm fortunate, of course, to also have horses here. And I know that the horses take me out of my head and into my heart and ground me. And they help take my stress level right away as well.
Oh my goodness, I think that is the spring allergies that are getting me. Yeah, I completely agree with you. In that, one of the things on having that stress, making a stress your bitch, and using your stress, the mechanisms that we have to release that stress. And one of the most powerful ones, I agree with you, are animals. My animals, because of my allergies, they don't use that with me a lot, but I can see it with my husband and Juan. The other one for how to leverage stress and how to use stress is connected with that you were talking before, connecting it with our instincts and with that gut feeling that something is not right. And that is talking at the beginning of the episode when we were talking about that reptile brain and that survival mode. our entire body is genetically trained to detect danger and detect not okay situations and trigger the cortisol and the stress. So if we start preparing ourselves and training ourselves to find those small cortisol stress gut feelings, then we are going to save ourselves from a lot of trouble and a lot of tears and a lot of problems, because as soon as you just ignore that and keep going into a mess, big mess, we just say, oh, I'm feeling this gut feeling. I know that that is triggered by my stress, by my cortisol. And if that cortisol was activated, was because one way or another, my body, either physically or mentally or energetically, perceive danger. There is danger ahead. So that is another one, a little more into the woo that we use to avoid problems if we really pay attention and honor what our body is telling us.
You mean we don't all live in a Disney princess movie? You know, with the animation and all the butterflies and everything comes and sings to us and it looks like there's nothing wrong. Well, you know, even in those Disney princess movies, there's stress and there's the evil person and there's the lessons that are to be learned. And we can learn a lot by just openly feeling the stress, figuring out where it's coming from, and also, as you were saying earlier, Joanna, what is it trying to show us? What is it trying to teach us? So we're not saying you're going to live a life without stress. We all have stress, but what is it actually trying to share with us?
And I think that, as we said in the beginning, we start villainize like the stress. So for us, the stress is a villain, and it's not. So if we stop fighting with the stress and we understand that the problem is when we stay long periods of times with it or on it, then we can start playing with the stress as a friend and say how we can person if I use these small doses of stress on specific times of the day.
Absolutely. Do you have any final words? We were just going to go over the using your stress, or does your stress use you? So we talked about strengthening your immune system. Is it making you more social, or is it doing the opposite and making you want to run away? Or and also how stress is a good thing because it connects you with your instincts.
I think that we didn't went deep into the immune system, so let's gonna talk on that one because that one is important. In a couple of episodes before, we were talking about how being stressed can reduce your immune system, and now we are talking that can strengthen your immune system. So you guys think that we just are cuckoo and lose our minds, but actually, like we are being talking about, the entire episode is a duality. So long periods of stress will reduce your immune system and weaken your immune system, because all your energy is going into that cortisol fight, flight, or freeze. But in short spans and in short intervals, it can strengthen your immune system because it gives you that fight push of taking massive action, and that make your body to produce all these chemicals to be even better, to be even stronger, to be in the next level. So I think use stress in the right way, it will make you a stronger person with a stronger immune system. If you let stress run you and use you, it will make you weak and more fragile and more exposed to take other things.
And I know that you have a thriving Wild Fit coaching business, and you're helping people with their psychology around food and their relationship with food. And so, how would nutrition come into making stress your bitch? How would that help that?
That is a very interesting question, because you will not believe how much stress we put our bodies into it just for not eating properly. Because, as you know, our body, one of the two main purposes of our objectives of our body is, the first one, keep us alive. And the second one is keep us in homeostasis. And homeostasis is balance. So every time that we put junk food on our body, every time that we put processed sugars, every time that we put alcohol, drugs in our bodies, what we are doing is we are taking our body out of homeostasis. So our body needs to get into a lot of stress to figure out by itself how to bring the homeostasis back. And this is what we are doing every day. We take it out of homeostasis with the food that we eat, and our body, because it's a magical miracle worker, take us back to homeostasis, and then we do this. So the level of stress that we put our body into for not eating can, with nutrition, help our stress levels and reduce our stress levels. A lot of water, variety, have variety of food, so your body doesn't stress that you're not going to have all the nutrients that you need, because you cannot have all the nutrients that you need only eating potatoes and beef and corn every day. So have all the variety in your food, and then being conscious of the process that you are eating to nourish your body. And that the best analogy that I have is, food is to your body like gasoline is to your car. So you don't put gasoline in your car just to make your car feel better. You don't put gasoline in your car just to make your car feel prettier. Put gasoline in your car because your car needs to function and take you from one place to another. In the most basic place, that is the same with our body. And as more we get in front of the main purpose of eating is fueling our body, as more we are going to be able to fuel our body with the right foods. And if we fuel the body with the right foods, then our body will have a lot less stress, because we'll not have to spend all that energy bringing us back to balance every time we whack off our body homeostasis with something that we take in.
Absolutely. What a great message. And I know that the eating habits can really affect me. And, you know, I had a glass of wine, and then the next day I had a glass of wine, and then the next day I had a glass of wine, and I was thinking to myself, like, this is ridiculous. Like, I am not the open the bottle of wine at home person. Lots of people are, and that's perfectly fine. But I just noticed that the stress was using me, and as Joanna says, my food devil was like, go get the wine. And I was like, okay. And there was no conversation about it. It's okay. The wine is done. There's no more wine in my house. And actually, I'm okay about that. And so it's like my food devil is going, well, there's no more wine, so I'm not even going to tell her to go get any. And it's like I have no cravings for it anymore anyway. I was just like, this is a really, really strange time. And you should look at all those places and like do what I'm doing, just laugh about it and call your friend like Joanna and say, oh my God, like this is ridiculous that I'm sitting here wanting this another glass of wine, another glass of wine, and another glass of wine. It was so out of character, but you know.
Yeah, one last one that, and I know that this is something that we both, Trish and I think that we talk about this almost every episode. If not every episode, at least every other episode. But the other magical trick for stress and to make sure that you make a stress work for you is breathing, because it takes just 2 seconds. The reptile brain get the signal there is danger. The reptile brain start producing cortisol, boom, 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 and then that cortisol starts flowing into your bloodstream, and it's just a matter of seconds for you to be full out of cortisol and in stress. And then if you start practicing in those seconds to breathe, that is going to slow down and reduce that cascade effect of the cortisol as well. So I know that we talk about it, but it is one of the most simple things in the world. We all can do it. It doesn't cost any money, and it's one of the most powerful and transformational tools that we have available to make big changes in our life. And stress is a perfect example too. We breathe, then we are able to pause and then think how I want to respond. Do I want to fight, take action? Do I want to fly, or do I want to freeze? And that is something that you will not be able to do if you don't breathe. Because if you don't breathe, by the time you don't even realize, like, it is too late already. The cortisol is all over you, consciously understanding what you are doing.
And if you're worried about people judging you for what you're eating or what you're doing, they can't judge you for breathing. Like, you can just do your breathing and no one's even going to know you're doing it. And it's the best gift that you can give yourself. It'll just lower everything down, and then all of a sudden they'll look at you and go, wonder what happened to her. Like, she's so much calmer now. I don't know. So no one's going to judge you for breathing, because we do it all the time.
I think that's our secret weapon. Like if we could do something better every day, that would be breathing. And I'm completely sure that it will transform our life big time. And with the stress and handling the stress, it will be a perfect partner to the positive stress and the stress that will strengthen our immune system, that will move us to take action. Like, I was reading, I think that was you, the one that shared this, about all these amazing things that happened in the last pandemic of I don't know, I'm super bad with history, but all these amazing discoveries and creation that happened, that was because they use stress in a positive way. It's because they feel the stress, they don't have another option but face that stress, and then pick action, and then amazing things happen. I'm pretty sure that was you know.
Yeah, and I can't remember who exactly I was talking about, but definitely even Viktor Frankl, being in the prison camps, and the amazing work that is still part of his legacy today. So definitely there are things that we can do.
Absolutely. So how has been your stress level these couple of weeks?
For me, my stress level, it is emotionally all over the map. Some days are good, some days are not, some days I cry, and I'm just trying to take one day at a time. And every day something changes, every day something is different in the news. And I think for me, it's really trying to be kind to myself and to be patient with myself and to forgive myself when I feel really stressed and I think, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's like, no, it's okay. Just feel it, just allow it, and then let it go. Recognize it, let it go. How about you?
I think that I'm in the same boat. I think that handling the business and homeschooling my 7-year-old nephew and having my ups and downs, I actually was finally taking my hot bath that we talked about a few episodes. My warm water, my bubbles, nice, like I always do. And then my kid came in with a ball and a cup, and then he started just playing on the water with me and just asking me questions. And then for a couple of seconds, I start having that stress of, this is my time. And then I just start giggling and saying like, no, this is my life now. And then I just start kind of reading about physics and experiments and what things float in the water and what things don't. But yeah, I think that is being ups and downs. And like you were saying, it's matter of not pushing that stress, not running away from the stress, but feel it. And then take the decision what you're going to do. Are you going to take an action from it? Are you going to fly from it or hide from it? Are you going to freeze? It goes back into what we always say, and is, it's your life and you choose how to live it.
Absolutely. And believe it or not, the stress can help you spiral up.
Yep.
Absolutely.
The positive stress can spiral you up. Yes,
yep.
ma'am.
And even the lessons learned from those other things, if you embrace it and thank it for what it's teaching you, then it'll keep you spiraling up as well. And that's what we hope for you. And we are both here to support you. And any comments, and maybe talk about, drop a comment if you can share with some ways that you use your stress to your advantage. We would love to hear that.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to hear that too. We are looking forward for your comments, and thank you for joining us on this episode. And I think that we are going to get close to have our winner for the Inside Out contest. So stay tuned so we can share a little bit about that winner, and hopefully that winner will be able to share some feedback after he or she get her coaching with us. And another exciting news is we're going to have a very special guest next week, right?
We are, and we have to confirm his loveliness, but it's one of our very best friends, and an amazing speaker, comedian, and with a powerful story of his journey and how it's brought him to where he is and who he is today.
So now you know, stay tuned next week for another episode of Trish and Joanna's Paddling Up with a special, very special guest. Thank you so much.
Love you all.
Love you. We will see you guys. Soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.